What's going on? Touch here. Just wanted to make a quick video about kind of my story and how we got to where we're at. So I'm currently 24 years old, married. My wife is 24. We live in Charlotte, North Carolina. I currently own 5 Augusta Lawn Care locations. I was blessed enough to be presented an opportunity that I couldn't refuse to buy them out about 2 months ago. Yeah, I kind of just wanted to start from the beginning and say how I got here. So I grew up in Toledo, Ohio, and went to school at the University of Toledo. I'd always wanted to be a doctor growing up, so either an anesthesiologist or an ER doctor. I shadowed a lot as a kid and actually worked at a scribing company, worked up as into a director position there. Kind of thought I had everything figured out, thought I was too cool for school, kind of started slacking off a little bit and kind of let things slip. Found out I wasn't super good at managing people. But I also realized that I enjoyed business because I had a really good mentor and a really good boss at the time at that company. Shout out to Rami. Rami kind of showed me that business is what I'm going to be best at. And it also, dawned on me like, the medical field might not have been for me. There's a lot of paperwork and hoops you have to jump through being in the medical field, and I really just didn't feel comfortable going to school for years and years on end and paying hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loans just to go be a doctor and help people one-on-one. I knew not only so selfishly, the aspect of business that interested me was, the monetary gain, but also I knew I could help more people. I knew I could provide jobs. I knew I could change people's lives, and also just provide a service to hundreds and hundreds of people at a time by owning a business. So at that time, kind of stepped away from the medical industry and left the scribing job, and I wasn't sure what to do. And the only other thing that I really had experience up until that point, because that's the entire way that my life had been going, was landscaping. And so, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna take like a gap year or two. We'll go to med school. It's not that big of a deal. I'm just gonna landscape for right now, because I figured it's probably not that hard to, start a landscaping business. And I knew how to mow and I knew how to lay mulch, since I've been growing up, I've been doing that. So started mowing lawns, kind of just picked up a few accounts. I was working part-time jobs. That was in 2021. That was also kind of peak of COVID. 2022, left my part-time jobs and I went full-time with landscaping. I thought I was making it. Had 40 customers. Wasn't entirely sure that I was running a great business, but I thought it was fine. And so all of 2022, scaled the business to 40 recurring customers with a few projects here and there. That was enough work for me and to help pay one of my best friends in college, a little bit. And at that time in early 2022, I started to take the business seriously. It was when we, considered jumping into going full-time. That's when I had found Mike Andes, and Mike was just a few years older than me. I forget if he was 26 or 27 at the time, and he had this franchise called AUGUSTA Lawn Care. And he had already scaled it up to 50 locations or something like that. And I was like, how hard can it be? I'm gonna scale this like crazy. This guy's just 3-4 years ahead of me. I was like, I can totally catch him. So Hutch's Lawn Care was actually my business. It started running out of my Chevy Cruze, so a 4-door car. And in 2022, I had bought my truck with a small trailer to pull around. We were doing push mowers, kind of just barely getting by, buying equipment as we could. And so originally I was actually going to be a competitor of Augusta Lawn Care. Well, turns out it's really hard to scale a business, and I thought I didn't know what I was doing. And so it was towards the end of 2022, probably November. I think Mike had made a post on YouTube or Instagram, and he was like, hey, if you're interested in joining Augusta, here's a Google form, fill this out. And at the time, I'd never made a resume because I got my job as a scribe just through a college friend. Well, actually, it was through my wife. At the time, she was just a college friend. So that's how I got my scribing job. Never had to have a job for any other part-time jobs, and then I was working for myself. I'd also told myself that I never wanted to work for anybody else, but I saw the things that Mike was doing, and it really kind of changed my opinion. I was like, if this guy, is this young, doing this big of things, and there's really this many people kind of following him and watching what he's doing, he must be doing something right. And so I knew I was going to be taking, 1 or 2 steps backwards, but hopefully to take 10 steps forward. So I applied, and his regional manager actually reached out to me. They were starting 5 new locations in Charlotte, North Carolina area. And so within 2 days, I'd been offered a job. 4 days after I applied, I had drove down here, was looking at apartments. I sold my house, my business, almost everything that I owned, because we moved down here into a 700 square foot apartment coming from a house in Toledo. We had to get rid of most of our stuff. So I proposed to my then girlfriend, and because I wasn't gonna make a girlfriend move with me. So my fiance and I moved down here. For the last year, I worked at a few different Augustas. So I started at Augusta Lawn Care of Huntersville, scaled that to over 150 clients. I think they have 160 recurring clients at this point. They had about 600 people in their database when I left, and we're doing almost 40K a month. So I worked there for the first 6 months. In August, there was another struggling location, so they actually created a starter role position for me, which was essentially, if you move into a location, you get it up to par, and or just start the location from complete scratch, get it up to par where it needs to be, and then hand it off to a general manager. You get a large bonus and also a percentage of the distributable cash going forward. So, I took that position. Huntersville was handed off, and then I stepped into a new location. Well, in January, because of some unfortunate, circumstances, the regional manager that had brought me on was let go, and Mike actually gave me an opportunity to buy the location, something that I never saw coming, I couldn't express my gratitude more. So because I'd worked in all of the locations over the last year, helping them just be stable and helping them grow. Definitely, last year gained over 200 customers across all the locations that I worked in. So, I knew all the markets, and Mike has a lot on his plate with the CRM that he's building, Augusta being the franchisor, and Command Center, the support for the Augusta Nation franchisees. And so I had the opportunity to buy out 5 locations, and I jumped on that and didn't look back. So my wife and I are now 25 years old. We, across the 5 locations, plan to do about, hopefully if predictions are correct, do $1.7 million this year, and keep growing from there. The 20-year goal is to scale to about 100 locations. And, I just want to share this content and make these messages. For people that have been in my position, I thought I had something going for me, decided maybe that, whether you decide that it's not the path for you, or, you feel like you have to take a couple steps back, as I did when I shut down my business, because I wanted to get inside of Augusta because I saw the promise in it. But either way, whether it's forced on you or it's your decision, taking a couple steps back isn't always a terrible decision, because if I hadn't sold my business, I would also still be in Augusta. I would probably just own 1 location, and we'd probably be doing maybe $500,000 this year in Toledo, Ohio. But, because I had faith, and I just wanted to learn from people that were farther than me and ahead of me in life, and come work for somebody else and, kind of give up my baby, like what I had built with the business in Ohio. I'm now in this blessed position to have 5 locations. So, I kind of hope that this message, that, people see this and hear this and know that there is there is reward on the other side of, you know, taking a step back and learning from people, learning from other people, as well as kind of just, you know, share the results and the progress that we make as we scale to 100 locations, and, you know, go from there. So I appreciate you taking the time to listen. As Mike Kennedy says, let's go.